Hello, welcome to my presentation on the ethics of emerging nuclear technologies. Nuclear energy is an emotionally charged topic for many. Some see it as a grave threat, others as the best path to a better future. There have been developments in fuel and reactor design that the industry claims will allow the production of safe, cheap, and clean energy. Opponents of this view argue that the new technologies are still dangerous to humans and the environment, and will increase the disparity of wealth between the richest and poorest countries of the world. I would like to examine the ethics of expanding nuclear technologies through the lenses of utilitarianism and social justice. Nuclear fission became a viable technology for the production of energy in 1942. By 1970, nuclear power produced 4.3% of the electricity in the United States. Even then, nuclear power was seen by many to be the key to American energy independence, as well as a way of producing energy without the environmentally damaging pollutants that are generated by fossil fuels. Others believed that the increase in environmental radiation, the difficulty of handling dangerous nuclear waste, and the possibility of accidents and meltdowns outweighed any potential benefits. Today, nuclear energy produces over 20% of the electricity in the United States. The argument pitting the efficiency and cleanliness of nuclear energy against the potential hazards continues today. The global population is rising, and many see nuclear technology as the best way to bring electricity to countries with historically low incomes without massive amounts of pollution. However, nuclear disasters such as the Chernobyl event in 1986 and the Fukushima event in 2011 arose caution and fear in many. New developments are being touted as the means to achieve large amounts of nuclear power while eliminating the historical risks. New reactors are being developed, along with new fuels that produce near zero waste that will shut down automatically if they are not continuously fed new fuel. If these developments do lead to a drastically safer form of fission, there are still humanitarian concerns regarding nuclear energy, such as where will the reactors be built and how will this affect the population of the region? Who will generate the energy, and will this create further hegemony between the rich and poor? Lack of electricity is one of the major hurdles faced by developing nations, and their response to this energy deficit has been to use large amounts of coal and other fossil fuels in inefficient generators, resulting in air and water pollution. Proponents of nuclear energy claim that the new generation of nuclear reactors and fuels will be essential in creating enough energy for the world's growing population without causing major environmental damage. Opponents of nuclear energy point out that there are other issues associated with nuclear energy that will do more harm than good. These issues pertain to the infrastructure that surrounds the actual generation of energy. Increased nuclear power requires increased mining for fuel, water consumption, land use, and infrastructure for energy transmission. The proximity of a population to these infrastructure developments could have a long-lasting and detrimental effect on these populations. In addition to the economic and environmental issues mentioned above, there also exist questions regarding the social justice of nuclear energy. The construction of nuclear plants and infrastructure is costly. The high initial investment and the necessity for technological advancement would result in richer, more advanced nations having energy dominance over less advanced countries, who would now be in their debt. Furthermore, the appearance of cheap, nuclear-generated electricity would present competition for sources of renewable energy now being developed, such as wind and water. Compound these issues with questions about labor issues and profit, such as will those performing the dangerous tasks of mining and infrastructure be compensated fairly? And the picture of nuclear energy as the technology to save humanity becomes less clear. The Department of Energy is touting 3D printing technology to balance the scales, as it will allow reactors and infrastructure to be built more safely and at a much lower cost. Additionally, new fuels will drastically reduce the amount of mining that needs to be done and reduce nuclear waste to near zero levels. Any large-scale changes in energy production will produce unforeseen effects for the population of the United States and the world. The two questions that I would like to ask are, how can nuclear energy production do the most good for the most people? And how can we as a society ensure that certain communities do not suffer so that others may prosper? New nuclear technologies will make it possible for smaller reactors to be built in a distributed fashion. In order to ensure that nuclear energy is a benefit to the entire population, it will need to be regulated and scrutinized by public agencies, not only ensuring the safety of the population, but ensuring that energy poor communities are not abused by monopolistic power. For this reason, the public, via the government, should maintain ownership over all nuclear reactors. While contractors may perform the installation and maintenance of the reactors, the government should hold ownership over the reactors as public property, with the purpose of providing the most affordable and cleanest energy possible. When it comes to international development, promises of infrastructure have been used to take advantage of developing nations in the past. If we consider access to energy as a human need, it makes sense to use international agencies to oversee the development of nuclear infrastructure rather than the bilateral agreements that have been seen in the past. Having an international group of scientists and economists determining the needs and capabilities of a region will ensure that all regions receive the aid they need, but not more than they can afford to maintain. Nuclear energy is not well understood by the general population and has been controversial since 1942. New technologies in the industry have great potential for safely generating large amounts of electricity without generating large amounts of pollution, which will in turn raise millions of people out of poverty. However, all new technologies carry risk. The wide distribution of nuclear technology will create more opportunities for mistakes and accidents. Furthermore, a technology so advanced will make the recipients of the energy more reliant on those with advanced technology. It is difficult, if not impossible, to prevent a technology with so much potential from developing. It is incumbent on communities and nations to monitor and regulate the process of development so that it is done in a safe and equitable manner.